Welcome to another edition of Headlines and Headaches. It's going to a couple of days before Halloween. I am your host, Larry H. Gardner. Also, the queen with the gold mics in the building, Jay Price.
Hey,
how are you?
It's Thursday.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got today, Larry. It's been a good week though, despite some foolishness. Been a good week.
Okay. Before we introduce our guests here, and we have somebody else calling in, what happened with the protest? I want to know more about that. I mean, you were at the protest because the cop from Euclid was rehired back by the city of Euclid. What was going on with that?
You know, we're just trying to drive home the point that, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're just sick of all the injustices that are happening to people of color. And we've got to stand up and take a stance, and we've got to be heard. And that is why we were there on Tuesday, to let the city of Euclid know that we will not lay down any longer, nor will this type of behavior and this rogueness of the police staff that's in Euclid continue. We are watching, our eyes are on you, and you're not going to get away this time. We're going to hold you accountable.
Right. Well, what was the cop's name again? The MMA fighter, a.k.a. the Euclid police officer? Amada. So he was rehired back, and there was a protest. Shout out to Cassandra McDonald, you, Dr. Richard Montgomery, for being out there, along with Angela White Davis, with a couple of the people.
Al Porter.
Also Al Porter of the Hip Hop Workshop here on this network, voiceradio.com. So the thing about it is that cop should have never been rehired back.
But because of arbitration, they said that's why they hired him, because of arbitration. So they had to give him his job back.
That is some of the hottest mess that I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so it's just like, really? So, the arbitrator, we know who he is. So we got some tough questions for him as well. And we want to know what his thought process was, and did he look at everything collectively as a whole before he made the decision, or was he bought and paid for by the union to bring this officer?
Yeah, probably
with back pay, might I add.
He got back pay?
Absolutely.
He's
sitting real pretty.
You know what?
Explain how you get fired and get back pay. Explain that.
Yeah. The union, and because they have an arbitrator that fights for them, and if they're found that they are that whatever they were let go for was not in reason, they can bring them back.
Is this the union rep or union leader?
Well, the arbitrator is supposed to be down the middle. They don't go either way. But we're seeming to think, and this is my thinking process, not the thought process of the Euclid NAACP, that the arbitrator is in the pocket of the union.
Really?
One more question. And who does the arbitrator work for?
He's supposed to be independent.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying that. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
So, there's... there's always some shit in the game.
Hey.
You know that.
FC.
Thank you, T.
Federal Communications Coalition with the FCC.
Keeps it 100.
FCC rules, dang it. Okay.
I know, FCC.
All right, so...
No fines. We're trying to have a party. No fines.
All right. Speaking of party, before I announce next week to everybody that's out there running, because the election is right around the corner, the Cleveland Clergy Coalition is inviting everybody to First Energy's Power System Institute Electric Utility Program, Saturday, November 10th. Now, they're hosting an interactive field trip for prospective candidates for employment to Power Systems Institute program, as well as a career of a line worker. Now, if you don't know what a line worker is somebody that works on the power lines for First Energy.
You got to climb the pole.
Right, you got to climb the poles. Now, the thing about it is, it's going to be a demonstration of basic wood pole climbing, bucket truck rides, hands-on upper body strength, hands-on transformer simulator, and knot typing seminar. The thing about it is that if you can call Harriet Cookie Freeman at Sure House Baptist Church, 216-551-0917, or call the office at 216-400-7264. to reserve a space. Now, this is from November 10th. Now, the PSI program is currently ranging from $25 to $30 an hour for straight time. Now, the dress code requirements would be long pants, long sleeve shirts, closed shoes, boots or tennis shoes, boots or tennis shoes, no open-toed heels, and no jewelry, and mobile phone and personal items are not they're allowed, but they're not. But you got to keep them on silent. The transportation to the training facility will be provided by Sure House Baptist Church. You got to go to Sure House Baptist Church, November 10th. Once you call in, November 10th, meet there at 7 o'clock a.m. Sure House Baptist Church, 11318 Miles Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105. And breakfast and lunch is provided, so you're not going to be hungry. So that means this job opening is for the line workers.
So are they hiring on the spot there?
They're probably going to be hiring in January.
Oh, in January.
In January. So they're not. So and they might hire on the spot. I'm not for sure. But the thing about it is, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And whether they're hiring on the spot, hiring in January, $25 to $30 an hour.
Wow.
There's nothing. I'm glad you said climb a pole and not strip on one. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad of that.
Hey, that'll be more than $40 an hour, $30 an hour, babe.
Hey.
I'm just saying.
Thank you. Calm your jets. As far as whatever. Like I said, if you want the email, my email is Larry Gardner, LARRY Gardner, GARDNER 3131@gmail.com. I can send you what Pastor Aaron Phillips sent me as far as the First Energy PSI program opportunity, and forward it over to you, and also forward over the flyer which I pulled off online. Now the thing about it is that the reason we do job placement, because I know somebody's out there on Facebook Live that needs a job. They need a job. Period. They need a job. So the thing about it is that if you need a job, we will talk about job openings, post them, and everything. So that's about it. I'm not even going to talk about. You want to talk about the nationalist comment that President Trump said, and also the stuff that was sent out to former President Obama, the CNN office, and Hillary Clinton?
I've been cool all day. Why are you trying to get my blood pressure up?
I ain't trying to get your blood pressure up. I'm just saying.
You know I don't do it stupid.
I don't either. But
I don't deserve any of my attention or energy.
So here's the thing. There was some suspicious bomb things that were sent to former President Barack Obama, Maxine Waters, Hillary Clinton, and the CNN offices. President Trump said that we should come together and there should be no violence, and they want to get to the bottom of this. But he also said the nationalist comment, which disturbed a lot of people. Now, a lot of people associate nationalists with racists.
But he's the one going around saying that it's going to be an all-out war if the Republicans lose. Who does that? Who does that? What human being in their right mind uses scare tactics and the lies to try and get votes for the Republicans? If they don't get this Bama out this office,
well, it is what it is. I mean,
if we don't get to the polls.
I'm saying vote early. Now we got some local news, and one of the candidates is here to talk about it. Speaking of candidate, we have a candidate forum for anybody that's running for anything: judge, Calgary County Commissioner, Congress, anybody that's running for anything at this particular point in time. We're going to have another candidate forum from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. here at voiceofradio.com, 17325 Euclid Avenue, Suite 2132. Food will be provided.
What we having?
Whatever you cook and whatever I get.
Ain't nobody told me nothing.
You the one asked. You asked, and I said it was cool.
Was I asleep when I said that?
I don't know if you was asleep or not.
Man, listen.
Well, you volunteered, so here you go. You want to hear? Okay, you want to hear? Here you go. Whatever. So you're going to be hearing a lot of Halloween songs from the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack during the course of the break, because Halloween is coming up. And please be mindful watch your kids, watch your children, make sure they don't get no nasty candy or no something in it. There's still crazy people out here.
It's beyond crazy.
And make sure that your children are safe.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Take them trick-or-treating. Just make sure that they watch everything. Halloween is Wednesday, actually.
It is Wednesday.
The 31st.
Yeah.
So our candidate forum is November the 1st. The 1st of November. We're going to be doing that. And then then going to the polls is November 6th. Some Tuesday. So the thing about it is there's going to be a thing as far as something by Calhoun County to get you to the polls Sunday, November 4th.
Now, let me just say this. If you had to renew your driver's license like I had to this year, remember that piece of paper that they gave you, you're going to need that. So whatever, wherever you put it, you're going to need it when you go to the polls. Don't think that you can take your ID because they might try and say, well, this ID expired, you can't vote. Take that piece of paper and that ID with you. Take both of them.
Right. If you hadn't voted early, you should have.
I think that this new ID thing is a trick.
It always been like that? You had to always show your ID to vote?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
And now...
you got to show the paper if you got a new one, right?
This year they started,
right.
Well, what did it start in September? That when you get your license renewed now, they give you a slip of paper.
Yeah,
and they send you your driver's license in the mail.
Right.
I haven't gotten mine yet.
How long was it?
It's been about a week.
Takes up to 7 to 10 business days, so you're probably going to be receiving it. If not tonight, hopefully soon, probably next week. So make sure you...
But just make sure that if you had to get your driver's license renewed, make sure you have that piece of paper.
Right.
Because they give you your license back, but then they stamp it with something.
Right. Well, Donna Walker.
This is Donna Walker Brown.
Yeah, she walked in with her support for our guests. So, all right, T-Rex, please play the entrance music. And I know that it's gonna be weird because, like I said, it's Halloween. Yep. If you're hearing the X-Files soundtrack, that means it's Halloween. There's some strange things going on in this election. So, but we're going to get one of the candidates to straighten those things out. So please welcome the candidate for Calhoun County Commissioner back again, once again, and he's probably going to be here next week anyway. Please welcome Mr. Peter Corrigan. How are you, Mr. Corrigan?
I'm great, Larry. Thanks.
No problem. Now, I see last night, let's talk about what happened last night. Last night there was supposed to be a debate. There was a debate on last night, and supposedly between you and the current Calhoun County Commissioner, County Exec Armand Budish. Unfortunately, Mr. Budish was not there, but Peter Corrigan was there. So would you like to explain the things that you talked about last night as you were talking pretty much to the moderator, Dr. Richard Montgomery?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I gave an introductory statement kind of a thing, and then questions from the audience. What I talked about, were the I said the five. They asked me what the 5 key issues were in the campaign, and I said child and family services 5 times.
He did,
and then I had to back off. But I mean, it's the number one issue. It's the number one issue for me, and it's I want to fix it on the other side of this election. I want to take off in the child and family services. When a father's complaining, when a daycare's complaining, and the mother's boyfriend has issues and beats the child to death, there's an issue with the agency that isn't paying attention to that. So plain and simple, that's the number one issue.
I have my complaints with juvenile court, but I'm going to hold my tongue till next week.
Yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble.
All right.
That's the number one issue, and then followed behind that is the next issue where there's deaths, and that's in the jail system now. They have a big change in the jail system, and it doesn't look like it's being managed correctly. We have 6 jailhouse deaths since June. We haven't had more than 2 in a year, going back at least 10 years. So there's not enough coverage. The correction officers are overwhelmed and overworked. The jailhouse is overwhelmed with people, and there's space around the county to be able to handle this. But right now they're forcing this merging. And, you know, I said last night, we ought to just take a couple steps back and make sure people are safe. And then I talked about Cuyahoga First, which is the buy, the purchasing, contracting, employing within Cuyahoga County. I talked about the property tax issue. There are a whole bunch of other questions. A lot of questions came out of the crowd yesterday as well.
Right. There's a people that are concerned, number one, because, you know, those questions not only were deterred to you, but they were deterred to your opponent, unfortunately, who was not there. And I don't know if, you know, and usually when something like this happens, there's usually a coverage. There's usually follow-up emails, follow-up phone calls, to cover to make sure both of them would be there. Was there a as far as you know, what does this mean when you show up to these debates and you are speaking? This is your first time on the campaign trail, I take it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
By and large, on something like this. Yeah.
Okay. So when you don't have the other person to debate with, what does that mean to you, period?
Well, I did that. It's it becomes a little bit hollow, because you're not really talking about what each other's ideas are. From my perspective, he should be there when his opponent's there to flush things out. We haven't really taken the route of calling them names and making fun of them and those kinds of campaigns. You know, we're really trying to hit them pretty hard on the issues. So a debate's a perfect opportunity to talk about the issues and then at least find out what's on everybody's mind. So from my standpoint, it's a little bit difficult. There's a debate on Tuesday down at the City Club, and I'm sure he's going to be at that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. The City Club, yes, it's going to be there at the
City
City Club.
Yeah.
But you know, part of it is you can't be afraid to go out into the community, even if you're going to get hard questions. I don't know what the questions are going to be like at the City Club, but
they'll be structured.
They'll be structured. They'll be supposedly it's supposed to be hard, but they'll usually in the City Club they'll be structured or tailored.
There'll be questions that they've already identified that they want them to answer.
Yeah, they did. The City Club did talk. They called and they said, "Hey, we want to have this little meeting about what the questions are at the City Club debate." And I was like, "What?" And I didn't understand
let you
that.
know already they've been pre-selected.
Did they talk? Did the City Club talk to you?
They sent it out to both. They said, Executive Budish wants to have this meeting, and I was just ready to do whatever they wanted to do. But now it looks like there's structure in this debate next week.
Oh, yeah, it's his questions. The ones that he's comfortable with.
Last night, I don't really think there was structure. I think people just wrote questions on cards. I was trying to answer them.
It's because those are the real questions that people are asking.
Right, exactly. So.
It's the thing about it is that you've been everybody who's anybody thought that this was a runaway election for Armand Budish, but you have made him pretty uncomfortable. What was the strategy for as far as you doing it? You said no name calling. I hadn't heard any slurs or anything come out of, I don't think either one campaigns, but the thing about it is how did you build up this momentum? How did you build it up?
It came from a great staff more than anything. I started with just trying to get into areas of the county that I didn't understand, trying to hear things. And there really have been a number of things that have kind of turned my head a little bit. This whole land bank thing is a lot of news there to me. Right. Land bank everybody perceives as, out in the suburbs, hey, everything's fine, but then you start talking to people in East Cleveland, not so happy about it. I started by trying to engage and then just trying to understand what the problems were. And just little by little, I met people who acted as teachers and mentors. And a lot of those people are on my campaign staff right now, helping me. And that's really where the momentum comes from. You just throw yourself in as a campaign and you're just saying, well, I'm going to run because I think I should run. That's a little bit, I mean, that's just a little bit bland. But when you pick up on what really the issues are in the community, and you start really seeing, I mean, you see deaths
Right.
happening. That changes a person. So I think that's what it really started. Donna Walker Brown, who's here with us
Right,
today,
exactly. She's sitting right next
pulled
to
me into this and said, "Listen, look at this," and she taught me.
You don't want to say nothing, Donna.
She's good. She's
She's
cool.
behind the scenes.
Right, she's behind the scenes right now, but
Donna will get you together too.
yeah. So
She don't mind.
the guy, she's supporting Team Corrigan, and the thing about as far as what's been going on, I see a lot more of your yard signs popping up.
I got mine.
I see a lot more support, but the thing about it is that what does this depend on you winning this election? Because you're going up, and I tell this to people who are going up against incumbents, you are going up against a machine.
Yeah.
So how do you pretty much beat the machine?
It's just the best thing that we have going for us is when people go out and educate themselves about what the vote really is. When they look at how many different instances of just raw, flat out mismanagement there are, they may step back and say, wait a minute, this is really not what we want. Mm-hmm. And the common theme in a lot of what's going on is just lack of attention, mismanagement. The whole jail thing, in my mind, is just that they had a bad plan, and they didn't execute it well. Bad project management. They're not administrating like they should in Child and Family Services. The property tax rollout was a disaster. Sales tax and budgeting, it just gets higher and higher. There's just 10 or 15 areas where they're just mismanaging. IT, there's a big story in the Cleveland.com yesterday about how they're over budget again. Mm-hmm. They're going to be another year late. They're a couple $1 million more. They're supposed to be $25 million. This thing, by the time this thing's over, we're going to be north of $35 million on this thing. So,
which is why they're trying to conceal the budget records.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what's going on with we got to run or something? We got to get out of here?
You said 4:30, right?
A little bit of time. Yeah.
A little bit of time. So you have to go out.
Yeah, again.
Donna got him.
All right, see how you're pretty much around the city, around the county. And where are you going to be at next? And before you go, how can people support you and vote for you and everything?
Well, we still have a Facebook page, Corrigan for County Executive. We still have CorriganForExecutive.com, the website. That we have a telephone number. Lots of times I answer the telephone. People don't like it when I do that, but how else are you going to understand what's going on unless people talk to them? So.
Okay, so Corrigan for Cuyahoga County Executive. They got to run. I thank him, and hopefully you'll be here next week to make your last push before Tuesday's general election.
Yeah, I really appreciate the time that you gave me on the air. I really appreciate that. So I do everything I can to be here next week. I'd like to do that a lot.
Okay, we're going to be here from 3 to 6, and I'm going to, you got 15 minutes. You got the last 10 to 15 minutes to make that push, Mr. Corrigan.
Yeah,
so
appreciate it, Larry.
No problem. And I appreciate everybody else here. So he has to go. So we're going to actually take a break around this time so you can get out of here. So we're going to play some Halloween things. Some stuff that, yeah, it's Halloween. And I need to have fun.
It's a big old kid.
I need to have fun today, okay?
Halloween parties are the best.
All right, exactly. So
no, the best part is going to be our Christmas masquerade party.
Right, and so when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this other stuff that's been going on around the area. And when we come back, this is Larry Gardner with
the queen herself,
Jay Price with the gold mic, and
he got it right.
And thank you very much for Mr. Corrigan for being here, along with his campaign manager Donna Walker Brown. So they're about to run out here and go somewhere else. So we're going to be but we'll be here and we'll be right back.